Most of the time, I use my wheelchair to get around. But whenever I get the opportunity, I like to use my other tools instead. Some people think because I use a wheelchair that I can't even walk at all. This has caused some really funny reactions in the past.
Dude, that guy just got out of his wheelchair and walked.
Bullshit.
Dude, seriously, he's getting in his car right now, dude.
No way, no way. People in wheelchairs, they can't walk.
Well, maybe he can walk like a little bit, I don't know.
Dude, there's no way. Dude, they use the wheelchairs because their legs don't work like at all. Like their legs don't work.
Dude, do you think he's faking it?
Dude, he could be faking it. That's messed up, man. I'm pissed. A lot of people think wheelchair users can't even drive. But luckily, there's a lot of adaptive equipment that we get to use that allows us to be fully and completely independent. How else do you think we get around?
What?
Did you know that wheelchair people can drive? Their legs don't work. How do they drive?
Dude, how do they drive?
Dude, I'm so scared right now. That's dangerous.
Dude,
that's so dangerous.
Dude, how did he get a license?
Dude,
you think he has a license?
I think that's probably illegal, dude. So I know if I'm going into a place where I'm going to be going from a chair to a chair, such as the chair of my vehicle to the chair of the Starbucks, I won't even bother to take my wheelchair. I'm going to take my crutch for this. Using a crutch has its advantages and its disadvantages. The big advantage is that you're on the same height, the same playing field, the same plane as everybody else that you interact with. One of the big disadvantages is any type of step, stair, uneven terrain, incline, decline. Basically, if it's not flat and concrete, it's annoying. Another disadvantage of using the crutch is you only have one hand to carry things. If you're using your wheelchair, you have an entire lap to carry things. Over the years, I've got a lot of real interesting and crazy reactions to me getting out of my wheelchair, getting into my truck, walking around on my crutch, not using my crutch at all. What a lot of people don't know is that a lot of individuals who use wheelchairs can actually walk. Not all of us are permanently bound. A lot of us can use crutches or leg braces or walkers or other forms of assistive devices to help us get around. They're like tools. Just because we use different tools to get around doesn't mean we're any less disabled. It doesn't mean we're faking it. It doesn't mean we're any less injured. Most of the time, we have to use these devices to have our independence, to gain our freedom, to be functioning members of society. And, you know, we get approached by people that think we're faking it or that we're not actually disabled. Like, that's really rude and that's really insulting. When I first got hurt, the doctors told me I would probably never walk again. I was using a wheelchair exclusively for like 5 or 6 years. My brain was finally able, through my incredibly damaged spinal cord, create neural pathways from my brain to the lower half of my body that there was no connection before. Like, I don't think I'll ever be back to 100% ever again. Like, there's just too much damage that occurred. And when I get up and I start walking and I start moving, like, people think, oh, like, let's go for a hike. Hey, let's go rock climbing. And I'm like, nah, dude, like, I'm still injured. Like, just because I'm not exclusively in my wheelchair anymore, like, my injury, I have a L2 incomplete spinal cord injury.
An incomplete injury means that some messages are being transmitted. These messages can either be movement and/or sensation.
My spinal cord itself wasn't severed. It wasn't completely like cut in half. It's soft. It's mushy like a banana. So when I had my injury, it would be the same thing as like a banana being, you know, karate chopped. You're not gonna cut it in half with the blunt part of your hand, but you're gonna smash it. So the signals from my brain to the lower half of my body below my level of the injury would be like an 8-lane superhighway. Like, for someone like myself, it's gone down to like a dirt road, a gravel dirt road. There are still some signals. Like, for example, I have the ability to feel temperature in some places, but I cannot feel temperature in other places. And I have to be very careful because I can burn myself, and I have burned myself. And didn't even know it. I've caught a 3rd-degree burn that required like so much treatment and so much work that it was absolutely ridiculous. Cold is another thing. I can lose circulation in my body and go numb and not know it. So these are things that I have to be careful of. You know, my skin is an organ, and if you sit on it for too long, or if you're leaning up against something, or you wear a brace, or your clothes are too tight, or you're sitting on it weird, you can actually cut off circulation to your skin, and your skin can die, and then you get a skin sore. And the #1 reason why spinal cord injury people get re-hospitalized is due to skin issues. And that's a big thing that you have to pay attention to, and you have to be very careful to make sure you don't mess up. A lot of the muscles have atrophied, some more than others. For example, my right glute is pretty much flat. It really doesn't do anything at all. My left glute is really weak. It's maybe like a 0.5 or like maybe a 1 out of 10. My right quad is really strong. I have a really strong right quad. That was the very first muscle to come back. And that's what's been able to help me stand initially and use the crutch and the braces that I had used that I don't need to use anymore. The right calf, toe down, doesn't work. I can't press like a gas pedal. Use hand controls in my vehicles, which you guys saw earlier. However, I can do toe up. I can kick the toe up. On the left side, the left glute, as I already mentioned, the left hamstring, the left quad, the left toe, the left calf, all like weak, all completely just like really weak. And if you've seen how I walk, the only way I do it is I hyperextend my knee, and then I can travel my body weight over top of the hyperextended knee. You know, that puts a lot of pain on my bones and my joints, but that's just a sacrifice that I'm willing to make to stand, to have more freedom and more mobility. To have all of these challenges and like these obstacles I overcome and I deal with every day, to be like accused of being like fake or like a fraud or like
a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony. Come on, Chris.
It's not only, it's just like, it's so insulting because like I was told that I would be like using a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I would never walk again. And there's so many whispers and pointing. Dude, why does that guy's legs look so weird, man? And talking.
Dude, do you think he's giving his leg day? Dude, like every day.
And laughing. And
bro, that guy looked like an olive with 2 toothpicks sticking in it.
And scoffing and
he lifting too much up top.
Eating too much protein, man. This is kids never skip leg day. Like I've legit had people like run up on me and like yell at me for parking in a handicap spot before, and I'm like, well, like, do you want to see my wheelchair? Like, what do you like? What like? I clearly have a tag on my vehicle.
The questions are offensive a lot of times, so you know.
I know I don't look the part of a person who's disabled, but like, I clearly am. To think all of a sudden like we're faking it, like we would choose to live this kind of life. Like we're humans, like we're people. Like just because we use a crutch or a wheelchair or we use special braces or we walk funny or we walk different doesn't mean like we're any less of a human being, that we're any less of a person. And that can weigh on you because you start to believe the way the public treats you, the way you get stared at and you get pointed out and all the whispers and how they treat you, and you tend to believe that you are like this like freak. You have to remember when people are staring at you or they're pointing or they're whispering, you're not hearing what they're saying. You don't know what they're thinking, and there's a good chance that they're pointing and they're whispering and they're staring because they're either amazed, they're inspired, they're impressed. They've never seen something like you before, and they've never seen something like you act the way you do before. Dude, do you see that guy over there? Yeah. No, that one right there. Yeah. Dude, you see him walking like on a crutch? Like, I've seen him in a wheelchair before. Like, I didn't know he could walk. Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, that's so cool.
He's looking. Don't.
Dude, that's actually dope, man.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That's kind of crazy, dude. I always thought people in wheelchairs, like, they couldn't. I thought like
I
didn't know that they could walk at all.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty crazy. Thank you for watching. I'm really looking forward to continuing to making more videos for you guys. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Wheels2Walking, the exact same as my YouTube channel, so we can have a conversation there. We'll see you next time.
That was way closer than I thought you could get.